Yeah. Sublime. Tonight on Cover to Cover. Seminal album from the 90s. To quote Comics by the Bay, must have album of his youth. And I couldn't agree more. This was one of those albums for me personally that stuck out. As a year just come out, eighth grader. Whoops.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to do stuff in the background here. There we go. I'm gonna shut that off.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, one of those albums that stood out to me as an eighth grader because it was everywhere. It exploded that year. And
not just this album, but just like others like it, like the Ska.
Yeah. It was part what they call it, the second or third wave, ska wave.
Third wave.
Coming in with other bands like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Yeah.
And but this album has so many more elements. Like, it's got the punk element and
reggae
and all those other influences, which kind of defines. I don't necessarily know if it defines their growing up, but it defines kind of the melting pot idea of this country. It's that's a melting pot of music, that they brought out. So I guess we'll get into the intro to the album. It is Sublime's third album, released July 30th, 1996. It was recorded between February and May of 96 at Pedernale Studio in Austin, which is known for Willie Nelson. I believe that was his studio.
Yep.
Total Access recording in Redondo Beach as well.
Donnie, before you jump too ahead, I just want to elaborate on the fact that Bradley is his name, I believe.
Bradley Knowles.
Yep. I had seen that or heard that his parents divorced when he was young, very young. And so he stayed with his mom. And then right around he was like preteen, he went to go with his dad. And his dad took him for like a boat trip, and they went around like the Bahamas and stuff like that. And that's where he got his first taste of reggae and Bob Marley and stuff like that. So that's where a lot of that influence comes, because when he was a kid, I guess that kind of stuck out to him, that music.
Okay.
The Bob Marley influence.
That makes sense.
Is from a boat trip with his father. So I just wanted to shoot that out there before we went too deep.
All right. It was released on MCA. It was their first major label debut. It was their major label debut. Despite the fact that MCA had released or would re-release their second album, Robin the Hood. And it was produced by Paul Leary and David Kahn.
It was like this last week too, wasn't it? The third album was a self-titled album.
Yeah.
Social D.
Yeah.
As soon as you get a hold of that major record label, it's like, all right, your first one's going to be self-titled, I guess.
Yeah, you got to put your name out there.
And unfortunately, with it being their major label debut, it was also their last album.
Yeah.
Because as history tells us, this was not only their last album because Bradley Knowles' passing, but it was released posthumously. They had recorded the album, and he passed away in May after they finished recording. And subsequently, during that recording, he was booted out of the studio towards the end because of his state. And for those that are unaware, Bradley Knowles had a rather lengthy battle with heroin, and there's when I was younger, there was people talk about the parallels between Bradley Knowles and Noel and Kurt Cobain. Both relatively same age.
Well, also too, that time in the early 90s, drugs took out Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, Shannon Hoon from Blind Melon when they were getting their start off. It's like
most of them never got past the third album either.
Yeah.
Them drugs, man, those were rampant in the early 90s, especially the heroin.
Yeah. Yeah, heroin was huge. And strangely enough, with that, they seem to have produced, I don't want to say maybe their finest hour under those conditions, but how is, that's the big thing, the how if they were in that state, were they able to pull themselves together enough to create what they created.
And man, I'm probably jumping ahead by saying that this is a masterpiece, considering what a hell of a way to go out on, because I mean, shoot, what do they have? Four singles off this album?
Massive singles that they still get played.
Still massively to play.
And they sound as fresh today as they did when it came out.
Yeah. I mean, what a way to go out. I mean, if you're going to go out, that's the ideal way right there.
Yeah.
With a massive album.
So bad.
And you stop and think and wonder, like, what could they have become if damn drugs wouldn't be getting in the way of a lot of these musicians and stuff.
Yeah.
Terrible.
You gotta think the stuff that was.
And he had a great voice, man. He had a voice that if you looked at him, you would never think that voice would come from him. He has a unique, smooth voice. It's like
clear.
Yeah. You talk about the appearance, and
he looks like a beach bum.
Yeah. He's shirtless, Bermuda shorts,
chubby,
those ratty, stretched out tube socks. It's like, what the hell? How is that voice coming out of that guy?
Yeah, man.
How is that guitar playing coming out of that guy? And not just him, but if you listen to Bud's drums or Eric's bass, the cohesiveness of the three of them coming together and producing not just any kind of record, but a record with so many different influences so smoothly. I mean, just wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this album sounds amazing. It's such a great sounding record. Like, it was produced so well. Like, everything just sounds so smooth and it was pleasant to listen to.
Yeah, it was. And this album, was the whole album produced by who? Wasn't he the guitarist from the Butthole Surfers, or was it just when they were down in Waco?
Yeah, Paul Leary, the aforementioned guitarist from Butthole Surfers, and Is it David?
David Kane.
David Kane.
One.
David Kane is a producer, musician, composer. I don't.
Well, where'd the shades go, man?
Holy shit, he's got a huge list of albums that he produced.
Which one? Kane or the
Kane. A lot of recent. He produced a Kelly Clarkson album recently. Sean Colvin, Burning London, the Clash tribute.
Paul McCartney, Sugar Ray, the Bangles, Stevie Nicks, Kelly Clarkson, so on and so forth.
Crazy number.
Even Tony Bennett.
So he's a seasoned producer, and so with the combination of those two guys working on the record, you know, their experience and their expertise, their knowledge within the industry, and what's going to work and what isn't. It makes sense that this would, I don't want to say destined, but the five of them destined. And the engineer they talked about in that interview, the engineer's Stu was kind of meticulous about when he was
doing is that the part with the solo?
Yeah, with the solo.
Yeah.
And he got upset because he
added an extra note.
Yeah. It was supposed to be one note and it split into two when he hit the button at the wrong time. And he wanted to do it again.
Yeah, all the stars aligned for this album, considering the issue with having to deal with somebody with an addiction.
Yeah.
It's funny. Maybe that's why it did come out this way. Who knows?
That's initially, I guess, the reason why he started dabbling into Hi-Yo Wolf is because of the creativeness. You know, he used it for the creativeness and then got hooked.
Yeah. Which I guess, you know, being the early 90s, that was kind of the thing. It was the dabbling in it, and then you get hooked because
you're gonna get hooked. It's freaking
it takes once. It takes once.
Exactly. Hey, I want to congratulate Old Wolf. His son graduated yesterday or the day before.
Yes.
So that's awesome. That's awesome, Tony, man. And he looked so excited at the graduation.
Yeah, he did.
So,
and then there was silence.
You guys never heard this album before, right?
Not completely, no.
No.
And if I did, it was in the mid '90s when it came out, because I had some friends that was in high school that was real big into the ska scene, and this might have been playing while we were joyriding through town, having a youthful good time, I guess.
You're getting some youthful shenanigans.
Shenanigans, that's what the word I was looking for.
That's the same for me. I knew some people that had it. I think the first time I heard this album, I listened to it en route to a basketball game.
Cool.
on the team bus. Somebody had it, and they let me listen to it, and I was like, this is awesome.
See when this came out, I didn't appreciate it for what it is now, because I was deep into like death metal and hard rock and heavy metal and everything besides ska and all that stuff, you know. So I didn't really dig deep into it besides what was played on the radio.
Yeah.
I didn't get into it either, man, because in '96, I think I had my second son was born. I had a 2-year-old and a baby. I was working. You know how it is, bro. When the kids are small, dude, you're just running around, and I was working crazy hours, and I wasn't listening to this kind of music. I heard it on the radio. I remember my brother told me about it, but man, I was just not. I was into other music. I was getting more into the techno music and the dance music, and it's like you were into different stuff. I heard the songs that were good, but I just never wanted to. I never went deeper than that until now. This is the first time I've ever heard it as well.
I kind of I don't want to say I knew this album very well, other than listening to it that time, you know, en route to a game. I knew it from a radio play and the videos, like that video for Wrong Way was just imprinted on the mind at the time.
And I just watched it. I just watched that video this morning, and like, man, I ain't seen it since way back when it was on MTV regularly, you know. And it definitely was like, oh, I remember that, you know, same thing, you know. Like at the end, dude's on the skateboard and they're all going down the road.
See, I gotta see that again because I don't remember that.
I guess kind of fast forward, you know, to the download days and the file sharing and stuff. The whole album is probably the first thing that I got on Audio Galaxy and downloaded and you know what I got in Santeria, and Santeria was one of those songs that it didn't matter what I was doing. When it came on, I stopped what the fuck I was doing and just listened to that song. I mean, that song was just, it had that groove.
Yeah. I'm going to jump ahead and say that song is badass.
Yeah.
Not just, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. That song's my favorite song on the whole damn album. And that song is, I would put that song as like one of the best songs ever type. Best written songs, you know, best musically. I mean, everything. That song stands above it just being on this album to me. You know, even if you ain't a hardcore fan, this song is still gonna be like, dude, that song's bad. That song's a great song. It's well written. The music is like composed perfectly, and I mean, everything about that song I think is perfect.
Well produced. Yep. Everything.
Love that song.
Yeah. No argument here.
I've never been a huge fan of this band, but that song, same thing. Whenever it come on the radio, you give it a couple little turns, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And to know that it spun out of a previous track. From the previous album, you know, it's like, well, that's kind of cool.
It shows you what the producers and stuff made for, you know, from the last one to that one, how much of a difference is and how well produced this album was.
Yeah.
You guys know what Santeria is?
It's I looked into it a while back. It's like a religion. It's like Not quite like a voodoo thing, but it's
Cuban.
Is it?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but it's Cuban. Is
it Cuban voodoo?
It's pretty much Cuban voodoo. It's called Santeria. They dress in all white. They they do like me growing up, bro. We would find dead chickens, dead chicks, dead chickens, around like at the corner of the people, because they would do rituals and they would kill chickens. They get baby goats and they cut, they bleed them out. It's all this weird stuff. And they worship the dark saints. It's Santeria. It's they're all in white. I forget the reason. I used to have a friend that was into it. They wear beads. There's a lot to it. There's babalus, or like their priests are called babalus. Babalao. That's what it is. And dude, you see them. I've worked with stuff. And they got their thing. They're cool, but they believe in all that, and it's like black magic, Cuban black magic.
Yeah.
That's what Santeria. I don't practice Santeria, and they put hexes on people. They take hexes off of people. It's
K-pop.
It's pretty big. It used to be big. Now it's more underground.
Okay.
But you ever seen oh my god, what's this called? Oh my god, they have stores and they sell all their products, and you buy all the little saints, and they got the candles, and yeah, dude, it's big in Hialeah. It's big in Hialeah, down here in Miami. So yeah, Santeria. Yeah.
They did. Old Wolf.
The Dark Demon.
Bro,
I do a birthday party every year.
I've heard my friends have told me stories. I remember I had a friend and he told me a story, man. I don't know what was going on. I was a little kid and my mom took me. She was into that. I guess she was into the saints, and he goes, bro, it was scary as a kid watching it, because people get possessed, and it's all that kind of stuff. No, thank goodness my parents. I was never my family was never into it. Not that I know of. We respect it. We don't mess with it, but that's about it.
Great song though.
Yeah, it's a freaking great song. I was telling Donnie when we were on the other day, I heard this right away when we picked it, and this album has something. Most all the albums that we've heard, that first song rocks. I cannot stand the first song on this album, dude.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought it up.
That was a horrible way to start it with all these great songs, and you started with that song.
I couldn't agree more, and I was going to bring that up. That this was probably the weakest opening song. It should have been in the middle of the album.
And it's a forgotten track.
And honestly, I think they could have probably put What I Got, or should have put What I Got as the opening song.
Yeah, man. To catch it, man, because that first song, it's like and I heard it a few times, and it's like, dude, that song's like, I'm not digging that song. It's a first song. I didn't like that at all.
I agree. It was just too slow, too drug out. Good. It's an all right song. It just didn't belong on the opening track.
Yeah.
What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I love Garden Grove.
Hey, Perry. It's not that it's not a bad song. It just doesn't belong in track one, I don't think.
There's nothing special about it to open up the album. It's not something that sticks with you.
So what?
At least for me, for me, I'm gonna say it. It's the song I don't like on the album because I don't like where they put it, and for me, that's the worst song on the album. For me.
What song would you have opened it with?
I like what I got. I think would have been great.
What I Got would have been a great opener.
It gets the party going, dude. It's lively. It sets
the mood for the.
It sets the mood. It's a badass song. That's the one critique that I have. The rest of the album is solid. Everything was great. I wish I would have got into it when it came out, but it's just
Now that you mention it, I don't remember Garden Grove being the opener.
I don't know.
That's weird.
It's the first song that comes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Garden Grove. Then it's What I Got. It should have been the other way around. I think What I Got should have been one, and Garden Grove should have been somewhere in the middle.
Yep. Hell, you could have put Garden Grove right after What I Got, and then after that, it would have went into Wrong Way.
I guess maybe because I don't.
Because
I've heard these songs so much
Uh-huh.
that I never correlated their placement on the album. You know what I mean?
That way, I mean, to me, they would have started out with a heavier, would have went a little more melodic, you know, and then back the Wrong Way, and then Same in the end was more of a real upbeat kind of punky sound.
I love that song.
And then back to April 29.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's what I would have done if I was producer. But hey, I ain't got no Grammy.
I think you would have improved the album even more. And it's a great freaking album.
Yeah,
the music's good. The songs, like you were saying about Santeria, how well written, everything. It's just a great freaking song, and it's simple, man. It's not complex. You know, it's just a simple, good song, and a lot of the albums that way.
That's what I like about it. It is simple, 3-piece. You know,
but they're well written, catchy songs. They're just badass.
Rip it on Barry in the chat. Yeah.
I mean, turns in the house. K-pop. Sorry. What's up?
I always thought that all the albums or all the songs rather, despite the different influences, the different themes, it's all like they're telling a story on the album.
Yeah,
it's all together. It's got a flow. Yeah. I think that's why I don't remember Garden Grove being the opener, because I don't know. I don't.
Because of heroin, right?
I guess. Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
There was definitely a lot. There was a lot of the lyrics that I was listening to on this album that took me back to that time, and you kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Especially the April 29, 92 song, which I would like to add on that song. My hometown gets a shout out at the end of that song. Because,
Miami got a shout out, didn't it?
Yeah, we got a shout out too, Lakeland, Florida. And I guess the former person that used to be involved with the band, Michael Happold, he used to live here in Lakeland.
Nice.
And then he moved out to Santa Monica or whatever, and that's when he got hooked up with those guys. Well, in 1992, they came to Lakeland and they played a show or so in Lakeland. So I guess that's why Lakeland, because they even say Lakeland and they say Punk Dreadnoughts. So the Lakeland High School mascot is the Dreadnoughts.
Cool.
So you hear them say that in the song.
Cool. Lakeland represent.
Yeah. Hey, we hit the big time forever on that album. That's a good album to be called out on.
Yeah, definitely.
And I remember when I was in high school, like those buddies I told you I had, oh, you got to check this out. Lakeland got a shout out.
Quiet little town.
And he was even quieter back then.
Yeah, in 1992, there was nothing here.
Speaking of our little town, you know who lives in our little town now?
Who?
Steve-O from Jackass.
No shit.
Yeah, he got tattooed the other day by my buddy.
You seen him around yet or not?
I haven't seen him yet, but people have saw him at Bed Bath & Beyond, and my buddy tattooed him at his shop.
He has space left?
Yeah.
Really? What did he get? Do you know?
I don't know.
I'm sure he'll post on like his Instagram or something.
Dude, Steve-O and Lakeland. Wow, that's pretty freaking awesome, dude. When you think about it.
Shawn Michaels used to live here too, the wrestler.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah. I think he's moved back over to Orlando area or something.
That's cool.
But anyways, yeah, we got a shout out on this album.
Cool.
Back to the song placement. I want to bring out. Maybe you guys aren't the only ones that feel that way, because the 10th anniversary reissue, they put Garden Grove as the last track.
I wouldn't mind it being the last track, bro.
And included a song that was originally supposed to be on the album, which is a Bob Marley cover.
Trenchtown Rock. Yeah, that's a classic Marley song.
So
yeah, I feel like Garden Grove is a lot better as a closer than an opener.
I'm good with that too. Even though I love the song.
Yeah, that
I'm kind of starting to agree with you now.
That 10th anniversary one, they really got it all over the place.
Yeah.
But I mean, it looks good. I mean,
Miami.
oh yeah, that guy, he was additional personnel on this album too, because he was kind of like a backup guitarist.
Okay.
Miguel Happold. That's him. He's the one that spent time here in Lakeland. And I saw online, and you can't find it nowhere, absolutely nowhere. So it's going to be a hard one to find. But they actually released in '96, right after Bradley died, a Sublime live show in Lakeland, Florida, on VHS.
Oh shit!
Nice.
But you can't find that turd nowhere, man. I'm sure that thing's worth tons of money.
Probably.
But I'm going to keep my eye open for it, because that'd be nice to have.
Check that website.
It's nowhere. It's nowhere. It's like a ghost in the wind.
Ghost.
It's like the Force ghost he was in the Santeria video.
Yeah.
Which was a cool video. I liked it. I liked that video.
Yeah, with Zeus.
Yeah. Kind of odd, though. Like, they're in a Western, then you got him, Bradley, just modern day, no shirt, playing his guitar, sitting around. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I guess while we're talking about the songs, do we want to venture into our favorite? I know, Jim, you had already jumped ahead.
Yeah, let's do that. Let me see. I think Santeria is great. I kind of like What I Got, dude.
Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite.
I really just have to keep listening to it, because I've only listened to it maybe like 2 or 3 times.
Wrong Way is my second favorite.
So
I really like Wrong Way too.
Wrong Way is very good. Santeria, Pawn Shop,
I would probably say my least favorite of the the album would probably be Pawn Shop. I'm not real big on that.
yeah.
It's kind of slow and continuous.
See, after
And it goes on for a long time.
And
Almost
it's a cover.
6 minutes.
Yeah, after the 135th Pawn Shop lyric,
Yeah.
I kind of I know about the pawn shop already.
It gets old. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one of the there's several covers on this album, and that's one of the covers.
Is that a cover? Because I remember hearing a story that because he had a drug problem, there was multiple times that he had took the band's equipment and pawned it.
Yeah.
And so the manager had to go get it at a pawn, and they say that's where the whole pawn shop song kind of came from.
The original is called War They Round a John Shop by the Wailing Souls. and I actually I went and I listened to, let's see, there's 6 of the songs are covers or partial covers of other songs, and I went and listened to them, and I was like, wow, because if you listen to that other song by the Wailing Souls, the guitar, everything sounds just like it,
Wow.
except they say down here at the pawn shop, they're saying why are they around at John's shop, which I don't know if that's what they call a pawn shop.
I don't know.
It's weird. It's almost like a parody thing, almost.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to change my selection. I think Doing Time is my favorite.
And Doing Time is a partial cover as well.
Really?
Yeah. It's supposed to be Summertime.
The Doing Time?
Yeah.
George Gershwin.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Doing Time credits, and it's got the Beastie Boys. It's got Adam Yauch and Adam Keith.
I think I'll go with that one.
And Rick Rubin and George Gershwin.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one's interesting.
Beastie
I have
Boys.
to give that one another time listening.
I'm gonna say what I got. I like that song.
Those are my two favorites, definitely. Looks like Journey's a big Sublime fan.
I definitely would say the second half of this album, I mean, it's hard to say that it's not as strong as the first half, but then again, the first half has 4 friggin' singles in it.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, once again, I probably would have kind of split that up a little bit.
I think Journey's with you, bro. He freaking loves that song.
I like all the songs on this album, but I can't listen the wrong way anymore. It was just too much. It's still a good song, but I just can't listen to it anymore. Same with What I Got. I can't listen to it anymore. The ones that grew on me are the more punky versions, like Paddle Out.
Yeah.
Same in the End.
Same in the End is really good. I
so good.
Yeah.
That was like the perfect like little change up in this album. I kind of wish they would have threw in a couple more songs that was like that, you know. I think it would have been a good, perfect mixture of a little bit of everything.
It's weird because this is like a backwards Bad Brains album where it's a reggae album first and punk album second. It's cool.
And there was actually one song on here. I'm trying to think of what song it is off the top of my head. It might be April 29th. I don't remember. But it had I heard HR from Bad Brains. I heard like his reggae style, even the way he kind of let out some of his lyrics, way he was singing. There was one song in particular, I can't remember the name of it, but it sounded like I've heard HR sing like that.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
That's a cool thing, man.
Off the Change Out, his solo album.
That's
a
a cool
one you got on vinyl.
Yeah,
that we should do that one. That'd be a great one to review.
Pick it next, bro. Pick it next.
There was a point where he wouldn't stop listening to that thing. It was on all the time.
Through my reggae phase.
Under My Voodoo was one of the unique. I think that's the standout on the album because it sounds kind of different than what the rest of the album is. You know what I mean? It's one that you have to listen to a couple times before it's like, okay, I get that one.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
It's funny. It's funny how many of these albums have that one song that's like, dude, I can't listen to this anymore, right? I can't listen to this shit anymore.
Yeah,
it's a good song, but I'm done.
Dress Me Down. I can't listen to that anymore. Well, I remember the first time I heard that, and I think I was 14, 15 years old. And I was like, what am I listening to? Because it's so sexually connotation. How I don't know how to say that. The connotations in that song.
And you were old enough to understand them.
Old
Right.
enough to understand them, and I'm like, what the hell? They're doing this in the song?
2 or 3 years before, and it would have gone straight over your head. Now it's like,
yeah.
oh, hell, I discovered girls. Now I know what the hell this song is about.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's another one I don't think I can listen to anymore. Except for the beginning.
Yeah, really catchy.
Yeah, I mean, they could have been a one-trick pony band for sure, but we don't know because I mean their flame burnt out too early.
It never got fulfilled, man.
I mean, you never know. They could have ended up like a damn Smash Mouth or something.
If you've never heard
No.
their first album, 40 Ounces of Freedom, I definitely recommend it. And Comics by the Bay, he shouted that out as his favorite. That's a solid album.
What's the difference that you see from that album to this one? What's the main thing that changed for them? Was it the writing style,
production?
Okay,
tighter. Some of the albums or some of the songs on this album, they had already been playing for a while. Santeria obviously being one of them. I think a lot of it boils down to production.
Really?
More money thrown at the album. I mean, I don't know. I didn't see.
Yeah, because they said
lost.
They said, I guess for this album, Bradley had an issue with writing the sense to where he would almost like freestyle stuff, and then the band would have to go back and kind of like rearrange it to make it more lyrically sound. So, because I guess he started out, he was just writing lyrics, and then they would put music to that. And
I also think I'd have to listen to 40 Ounces again, but I think Bud's drums had a higher volume as far as the way they were mic'd. You could hear his drums a little more pronounced than 40 Ounces. Like I said, I have to listen to 40 Ounces again, but to make a comparison. But yeah.
Well, they also said in that interview they mic'd them up. You know, they used all these great mics and stuff like that, but they said the way he was hitting and whenever they picked it up, man, it was
crisp,
scratching his back.
Yeah.
He'd bring that freaking stick the whole way back behind his back.
And they were talking about like he was scratching his back and all they seen was crack, you know, and that's the What I Got video, you see him drumming, you see a big old plumber's crack. Yeah, this is definitely an album that I would like to own this on vinyl if they have it.
Oh,
and if it's been repressed.
I'm sure it's at Walmart or something.
Yeah, you could probably find it.
This album's so iconic. Like that.
What were the sales? What were the sales on this? I'm sorry.
5 million.
Yeah, that's probably
it did very well.
Yeah.
Considering there was no more band upon its release.
Yeah, no tour, nothing, right?
Could you imagine if they could have tried to support it? Which makes me wonder if it wasn't the stigma around it being released after his death, you know,
and
drove it.
It probably did. You know, a lot of times it does when somebody burns out like that. It says in 97, the U.S. Billboard charts, it peaked at 18.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, for 96. For 1996, it peaked at 188. Then he died, and then I'm assuming in 97, then it peaked at 18. And then 1998, the Billboard 200, it topped at 100.
I'm sure.
I mean, it stayed on the charts for a long time.
For years.
I'm sure his death attributed, maybe more people to be intrigued to listen to it, but the fact that the album kicks ass and the albums it's really freaking good, and I think that's what just kept it going.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's just him dying, but you also had MTV promoting it crazy.
Yeah, MTV was like, I don't know. I don't know if you would consider that like a peak of MTV, the early 90s.
Look how Nirvana got popular. They got popular because of their videos.
Yep, and that's all right around the same time.
Yeah.
And they grew so quickly. I remember hearing a story that their album went platinum and they were still using a U-Haul trailer with the whole band in it. Like,
it was how do you say it?
Meteoric.
Meteoric rise, yes.
Like they were playing shows that could hold 300 people, and their album was platinum, and there was hundreds of thousands of people, not hundreds of thousands, but a couple of thousand people outside the door waiting to get in. Because it just exploded.
And that happened with a lot of bands, like you mentioned the Mighty Ballstones. They were all over MTV when that came out. A lot of that ska and stuff like that was hot because of MTV.
Pearl Jam, bro. When Jeremy, that video, blew them up, blew a lot of those bands.
So I just happened to see 16 months after the release of this album, it was still doing 40,000 units a week.
That's true.
40,000 a week. That's crazy. I mean, usually an album will fizzle out unless it's freaking Elvis or whatever. But yeah, it didn't fizzle out the way an album normally does. 179 weeks on the charts.
There is some stuff there is some songs on here that I think haven't aged well, that has the 90s sound to it, such as the one we talked about we liked is hold on. Same in the End. Great song, but it sounds like a 90s song. But other than that, this is pretty timeless album.
I think so.
Holds up well.
Yeah, they're still doing remakes, like you said, Doing Time, Summertime. They still came up with somebody redid it a couple of years ago, and it was all over the radio. Mm-hmm. Some chick, I forget exactly who it was, but it was great.
Which I think a lot of it has to do too with the reggae sound and stuff. Reggae is not going nowhere, and it's pretty much the same sound since Bob Marley and before that.
Journey, yes, you are in the minority.
Reggae is kind of a timeless thing.
Yeah, definitely.
I like them both equally, so I guess I'm.
No, dude, Nirvana to me. Foo Fighters, I like them. They're not Nirvana, dude.
But they're two different sounds.
Yeah, it's still
very different.
Foo Fighters is definitely more talented band.
Nirvana was just
sounding. They were just a garage band that was super good.
Nirvana just caught magic, dude. They were magic. And it was done. What about the cover, Donnie?
I have no idea. Hang
Can
on.
we talk about the cover?
Cover is iconic. You see that thing all the time.
Right?
Like, you can't go anywhere without seeing
Whose back is that? Is that Bradley's? I don't.
Is it a real tattoo?
Yeah, I believe it is, yeah.
Yeah, there ain't stank on the cover on this.
Which I feel like tattooing your band name on your back probably isn't the greatest idea. That's kind of like, I don't know.
But if
getting a girl's name on you is the same thing as
But if it's your band, though, I mean, if you created the band, it's yours. No matter what happens,
But I think that word I think it transcends the band.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just your opinion, Journey.
It's
I
his.
don't agree with Nirvana being better than Pearl Jam either. So you're in the minority on that one too.
It's his.
It's your
It's a,
opinion.
it's a lifestyle. It's
Mhm.
it's more than just some band's name. It's a way of life.
But you know what's cool about it's the
Piece of
picture
life.
frame too. The picture frame.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's about that as well, man.
Can I just say, like,
It's definitely a 90s album cover.
yeah,
Yes.
and you can tell it's California based instantly. Like
Inst-
it looks like it's hot out. Like when you look at it, it looks like sweaty.
Yeah, you get the black and white flowers, like like a cholo tattoo,
Yeah, yes.
and then the old English writing. It's definitely California.
It's crazy you can tell it just from a picture of someone's back.
Parental advisory.
That was one of the first albums that I ever saw in stores with that label on it. I know this was after all that crap,
Al Gore
the Senate
shit.
trial and all that stuff.
Ruined music.
This is one of the first albums that I saw in
Live
store
life.
that had that on it. I'm like, I guess I'm not allowed to have that.
Tipper Gore. Was that her name?
Yeah,
Tipper
Tipper
Gore.
Gore.
That
Tipper Gore, yeah.
stupid bitch.
I don't know if you've seen it. There's a video on YouTube of
D. Snyder.
Jello Biafra on Oprah with Tipper Gore arguing over the parental advisory thing.
I've seen that.
And it's the greatest video in the world.
I don't think I've seen that.
Like-
I've seen D. Snyder on
Yes,
Jello-
Chapel Hill.
And that was like 89. Like it was early in it. And so he dressed up nice and snazzy. He got a suit on and he's sitting on Oprah's couch. It's a great watch. It's on YouTube. Jello Biafra and Oprah will come up.
Jello. He's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I think he does. You know he ran for mayor in like the 70s?
No.
Really?
Like in 71. And I think he came like very far fourth. And he was the four I think it was 4 people that ran too.
What was he, like 18?
Probably. Like
That's funny.
79. Some of like the picture stuff promoting it is pretty funny.
There's a lot of bands better than Extreme.
They had no more words.
Yeah, no more words. I have a statement about opinions too.
Well, it's just
It's an oldie.
Oh yeah, exactly.
They're like assholes.
True, bro. It's just opinions. Who cares, bro? Who cares? Except for Journey's opinion, because he's big in the music world.
I like the Big Lebowski quote. Well, that's like your opinion, man.
Oh yeah. Like your opinion.
That's my favorite. I still use that one today.
Yeah, that's like your opinion.
I'm not your Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude.
I'm the dude, man. El Duderino.
His dudeness.
The duder. It's the best, bro. That is the best, Jim. You're right, man. That's the best. It's like your opinion, man. So good.
So yes, this album, check it out if you've never heard it,
Yeah, it's good.
Please do. It's definitely worth it.
Definitely.
and also check out. Now I've never heard Robin the Hood.
Oh, hold on, real quick. How many times I know you listen to it all the time, Donnie, but Raul, how many times did you give this album a listen?
Like 4 times. I heard it that the next day, and then a couple other times. Yeah, like 4 times. I like
Yeah.
that. I enjoy it.
I think I gave it. It was somewhere between 5 and 6 times.
Oh, and it's chill, dude. It's just a chill, laid back, and you
Yeah.
just enjoy it. And you could put it on and just have it like background music, and it's just a nice vibe.
For sure.
And stop what you're doing when Santeria comes on.
And you'll probably catch yourself singing along with it without even knowing that you're singing along.
Yeah. The songs on this album are songs that I would catch myself, like especially when I was still out on the floor
Mhm.
driving, putting the cord away. I would catch myself going, I don't practice Santeria. Ain't got
It's
nothing
catchy as
to
hell,
say.
dude. It's catchy as shit. It's catchy as hell.
Especially if I was having a shitty day, that stuff would creep into my head and help me get through the freaking day.
Yeah, exactly. It helps you freaking take it easy. Hey, just chill, man. Just chill. It's all good. I guess it's the reggae influence in it, you know? It's just got a good vibe.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna kick him out of the chat.
Negative Nancy.
Anyway, but again, I've never listened to Robin the Hood, but definitely go check out 40 Ounces of Freedom. It's their that's their first album. It's a solid album as well.
What a great set of names for albums, especially during that's kind of like the rise of the whole gangster rap stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
You know, the Snoop Dogg and the Chronic and all that stuff.
You think anyone got like catfish? Think they're getting a gangster rap album?
Yeah, they got catfish on the
Sublime Catfish.
What we doing next, Donnie?
Spin that wheel.
Let's find out. Maybe the damn thing won't jitter this time.
Oh, that's right. Last time we couldn't even tell. Okay, so what's left? Blue Oyster Cult,
B-52 and Venom.
Boom.
Venom.
Black Metal.
Heck yeah.
Black Metal. Black Metal.
All right. People. That'll work.
Venom.
So this, talk about diversity in albums.
Yeah, Sublime to Venom, Black Metal.
Going from one end to another.
Whose album is this?
This
was one of my picks.
Okay.
So these two were my
Damn,
picks.
you had your albums back to back. Look at you.
Well, so did Boat.
Nope.
I did.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Mine was from back to back.
Boat had it.
So yeah, get out there and listen to Venom's Black Metal. That's their second album.
Slightly better, really, bro. Slightly better, bro. You're losing cred, bro. Just leave it alone. Slightly better than Frank Zappa and Ted Nugent. Wow.
He's trolling.
His
Go back under the bridge, you troll.
His opinion is just losing weight. You know, it's like.
We're gonna do Blue Oyster Cult when it lands on it. How about that, biatch? And you don't have to wait. You can listen to that anytime.
Hard.
You can listen to that anytime.
Man, he's cooking.
So yes, next week we're going next week.
Yes.
Okay. Venom's Black Metal. Get out there and listen to it and develop your own opinions, your own formation of opinions on the album. And we will reconvene here next Sunday at 8:00 and discuss that album. I really want to hear not just Jim and Boats, but I really want to hear Raul's opinion.
Yeah. I've
never even heard of this band.
So don't go on a family trip next week.
I have no idea what we're listening to. I don't know Venom. I don't know Black Metal. I have never heard of it.
It's literally a slightly more aggressive Motorhead. That's really all it is.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
I'll start tomorrow. I'll listen to it tomorrow.
See, I've never heard it either, so me and you are in the same boat.
Never even heard of the band.
I've heard of the band.
When did the album come out? It was like
81.
81? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of like the early thrash bands to kind of start end speed metal and start thrash metal.
You know what we gotta sing? We also I don't know if we've touched on it. We gotta say why did we pick these albums, right? We could do that next week, Donnie. Why did you pick this album?
Because I love it.
Okay. All right, forget that. Forget that idea.
Same reason I picked tonight's album. Because I
Pretty
love
much,
it.
yeah, you're right. What I think, I love it.
I will discuss my reasoning in more
Okay.
detail next week.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Go Heat! Go Heat!
So, yep. Go listen to it. Listen to it 2 or 3 times because I fully understand it may not be for everyone.
Definitely someone on the panel that probably won't enjoy it.
Listen to it a little slower.
If you're on YouTube, like go to like the settings and like change it like half speed and then listen to it.
Yeah.
Might make it easier to listen to.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't wait. I'm gonna listen to it tomorrow early when I
It'll wake you up.
If your significant other is not a fan of this type of music, tell them not to listen to it. or tell them to listen to it.
All right.
And maybe they will become a fan.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
In the meantime, get out there and listen to some music. And